Hello, dosto. My name is Deepak, and I'm a tax code advisor. Now, those of you guys who invest in stock market, you probably know, usually there are two ways to buy a stock. You can either buy a stock, that means you're actually buying hardcore equity, and you pay whatever the current market price is. Or you can buy an option. Option simply gives you a right to buy at a certain price at a certain future date. But that option costs you money. You have to pay for it. But imagine if you can buy Google stock and Google comes to you and say, look, if we grow, if our company grows, you will have the stock. And if it doesn't grow, we'll just give you your money back. Or if Amazon did that, or Nvidia did that, or Palantir did that, or SoFi did that, some of the hardest stocks in the market. What if they did that to you? If they say, look, you can buy into my company. If we do well, if our company grows, we will give you the stock of the company. And if it doesn't grow, if we crash, if we get burned, we will give you your money back. How many of you would be interested in that kind of setup? I think many people would be interested in that setup, except they forget one thing, that when a company makes a promise that they're going to give you money back, that is if the company has the money to give you the money back. If they don't have the money, how can they give you the money back? But I think there will be a lot of people who would still take these great companies on their promise that they're willing to give you the money back in case they go bust. Well, there is one such company who is doing that, and that company is called MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is a software company. However, it is heavily invested in crypto. They started investing in crypto because they had a lot of cash and they couldn't figure out what to do with the cash. They didn't know if they should buy Apple, Google, or they should start another company. They should invest in a startup, and maybe they did figure it out, and they says, well, all of these carry the risk, and there's an easier way to make more money. And somebody says, well, the easier way to make more money is crypto. Crypto is hot. There are a lot of people believing in it. And every year there are more people believing in that story. And sooner or later, it's going to become viral and we can make tons of money. And then somebody came up and says, wait a minute, that doesn't really sound like a too good of an idea. If we invest in this company, all of our money and, crypto just crashes, then what are we going to do? We are back to square one. That's not a good strategy. And then somebody else says, well, what if it was not our money? What if we borrow money from the market? What if we go out and let's raise $10 billion or more, and we take their money and we invest in crypto? They're like, wait a minute, how are you going to do that? How are you going to go to the market and get a $10 billion to invest in crypto? That doesn't really make any sense. And then somebody said, well, I think there's a way to do that. Okay. It's a MicroStrategy. Like, what is a MicroStrategy? I'm just making this up, by the way. I don't know if that's exactly how it comes, but you get the point. Is somebody said, look, the MicroStrategy is that we're going to go to market, we're going to borrow the funds, and we're going to talk to all the people who love crypto, but they don't love the risk that comes with crypto. So if you're watching this video, let me ask you, do you love crypto? Are you willing to take the risk? What if you can have crypto without actually taking a risk? Would you be interested in that? And MicroStrategy says, I think there are a lot of people out there who are sitting on cash. They would like to invest, but they don't want to make 1-2% on their money. They're looking to make a lot of money, but they don't want to take any risk. Why don't we talk to these people? I think last time I checked was $6 trillion sitting on the sidelines even today when markets are all-time high. Do you remember 2023? I think I did a video earlier where I talked about that in growth funds did anywhere between 30 to 40% in 2023. In 2024, they did another 30 to 40%. But $6 trillion still sitting on a sideline. So you can imagine, 4 or 5 years ago when MicroStrategy was looking into this, he saw a huge opportunity. He said, people are sitting on cash and they don't know what to do with it. I'm going to show them a way. And the way was invest in my company. And how? Well, you're going to actually lend me the money. You're going to let me borrow the money. And what I'm going to do in return is I'm going to guarantee you that within X number of years, I'll give you your money back. And How much interest I'm going to get? Nothing. Nada. Zero. We won't pay you any interest. Well, wait a minute, then why should I give you the money? Well, you should give me the money is because I'm going to take your money and I'm going to buy Bitcoins with it. Well, I don't want to buy Bitcoins. Bitcoins are very risky. I understand that. That's why I'm giving you a guarantee. If my company doesn't work, the risk is not yours, risk is mine. You don't lose any money. If you put the money in my company, Bitcoin crashes, I'll give you the money back after X number of years without any interest, but at least you don't lose your principal. However, if Bitcoin does work, if it does appreciate, market does go up, in that case, I'm going to convert your debt into the stock of my company. How is that? You're able to actually take advantage of growth of Bitcoin without actually taking the risk associated with the Bitcoin. However, like I said earlier, I don't think it's as clear as that. There's always a risk, and maybe that was, maybe people understood it, people didn't understood it. But one thing I do know is that MicroStrategy stock for 2024 is up almost 600%. Can you imagine that? If you would have invested just $1,000 into Bitcoin, you would be very, very happy today. And that's what leverage can do for you. But remember, leverage works both ways. Leverage can also crash. Once your debt converts into an equity, if you don't sell that, then all of a sudden you are in that risky basket. But if you are in the debt space, then still it's not as much risk. But at the end of the day, you still have a risk, because if market crashes big time and MicroStrategy just folds up and decides to leave, then more than likely you're going to get hit as well. So that's how MicroStrategy works. So they were able to cater to people who are willing to take a lot of risk, and they were able to cater to people who were very conservative in nature, but still wanted to take advantage of growth in Bitcoin. So we saw what happened. Now you might be thinking, well, why would Bitcoin? Why would MicroStrategy do that to begin with? Because Bitcoin is very volatile. Bitcoin has a lot of risk associated with it. A lot of governments don't like it. It can get shut down, and it can get penalized and whatnot. So there are a lot of those talks around that. But I think what MicroStrategy realized is at the end of the day, U.S. government most likely would want to make tax revenue. And they make revenue when people trade Bitcoins. When they buy, sell, they make money on it. So why would U.S. government actually shut it down? They will most likely going to regulate it. So I think they're okay with the Bitcoin not being completely disappeared. Second thing is they have seen the pattern in Bitcoin, and they perhaps got really good with dealing with volatility. So a lot of people lose out in markets because they see volatility as a loss. Volatility is not a loss. Loss happens when you make a decision to sell something. And MicroStrategy is not in the game of selling. MicroStrategy in the game of holding. It's not their money. They're not paying any interest on it. So why would they want to sell it? They can hold on to it. And more importantly, even if they have to give the money back, if the stock is not going anywhere, then they can probably easily refinance debt in some other way and pay with that refinance money. So they see themselves a little bit more secured with this strategy. The people who invest in the company feel secured because they're not losing any money. And most importantly, when Bitcoin is like such a big piece of your company, and I think last time I checked, it's 2% of the global Bitcoin supply that we're talking about here. Like MicroStrategy itself, just one company, owns 2% of all the Bitcoin in the world. When you have such a big supply, when that particular asset is the only asset you have, or perhaps the biggest asset you have, that means you're going to have the best people in the world looking after that asset. These are the people who are really good with analytics. They're probably tracking everything to do with Bitcoin. They're probably tracking how many people are searching for it. They're tracking human behavior. They're tracking, government policies. They probably know about Bitcoin more than anybody else out there. So if I want to learn something about Bitcoin, I'll be probably paying more attention to MicroStrategy because that's their bread and butter. So do they understand it's high risk? Of course. But I think they don't see it as a high risk. They see it as a volatility, and they take advantage of every time it's volatile. So right now, for example, Bitcoin is 600. I mean, the MicroStrategy stock is almost 600% up, but so is Bitcoin. But they know it's going to go down. I mean, everything that goes up always comes down. When it comes down, they're going to buy more. And once again, when it goes up, they once again have shown a lot of profit. So that's their strategy. That's how they're operating. But I love the idea behind it. But it's still kind of a risky strategy. I mean, I don't mind considering MicroStrategy when things are bad. But when things are all-time high, this becomes even more riskier. So if somebody's thinking about buying a Bitcoin versus investing in MicroStrategy, then I'll say, just be very careful. Once again, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not telling you to buy or sell either way, but I'm just saying that leverage works both ways. It can make you a lot of money, but then it can also cost you a lot of money. But that is how MicroStrategy works. So I saw the client who did very well with MicroStrategy was extremely happy. And if you are one of those guys and you're thinking about what to do with it, how do you deal with those capital gains for this year? Then please, my humble request, don't sell. Before you sell, set up a consultation appointment and strategically set up that transaction to minimize your taxes. If you make a sale, then your choices are somewhat limited as to what you can do with those gains. But if you are a little bit more patient, just go to taxcodeadvisors.com, just set up a consultation appointment, then we can have that chat and I can show you how you can minimize taxes and how best to structure those transactions. And those of you guys who love Bitcoin, keep an eye out for MicroStrategy. When next time the market crash, take a look at this stock and see if that might be a good one for your appetite. Once again, guys, my name is Deepak and I'm a tax code advisor. If you ever need any kind of tax help, then just go to taxcodeadvisors.com and reach out to me further. I'll talk to you soon.